14 billion. That's the number of times people have read this manhwa. Not views on a YouTube video. Not streams on Spotify. 14 billion reads of a single comic. Solo Leveling isn't just a manhwa. It's a cultural phenomenon that changed the entire industry. And today, I'm going to tell you exactly why. Before we dive in, let me set the stage. Solo Leveling started as a Korean web novel by an author named Chugon, published in 2014. 4 years later, in 2018, the manhwa adaptation launched with art by an incredible artist known as DUBU. And that's when everything exploded. Within months, it became the most read manhwa on the planet. But what makes it so special? Let's break it down. The world of Solo Leveling is our world, but with one major difference. About 10 years ago, portals called gates started appearing everywhere. Inside these gates are dungeons filled with monsters. To fight these monsters, certain humans awaken supernatural abilities. They're called hunters, and they're ranked from E, the weakest, all the way to S, the strongest. Being a hunter is a job. You clear dungeons, you get paid. The stronger you are, the richer you get. Simple, right? Now here's where our story begins. Sung Jin-Woo is the weakest hunter in existence. He's E rank, the absolute bottom. He can barely survive the easiest dungeons. Other hunters call him the world's weakest. He's broke. He's desperate. He takes on dangerous raids just to pay his mother's hospital bills. Every mission could be his last, and honestly, most people expect it to be. But Jin-Woo keeps going. Not because he's brave. Because he has no other choice. Everything changes in the double dungeon incident. Jin-Woo and a group of hunters stumble into a hidden dungeon within a dungeon. It's a trap. Inside, they find a massive temple filled with stone statues. And then the statues start moving. One by one, hunters start falling. It's a massacre. Jin-Woo watches his comrades get wiped out. In a final desperate act, he figures out the dungeon's rules and sacrifices himself to save the survivors. He should be gone. But instead, he wakes up in a hospital bed. And floating in front of his eyes is something nobody else can see. A message that reads, "You have been chosen as a player of the system." From this point on, Jin-Woo is the only hunter in the world who can level up. Everyone else is stuck at their rank forever. But Jin-Woo has a game-like system. He gets quests. He earns experience points. He gains new abilities. And he gets stronger at an insane rate. What makes this so satisfying is the progression. You watch him go from getting beaten up by goblins to soloing dungeons that entire S-rank teams can't handle. Every chapter, every fight, he's noticeably more powerful. And the art makes every single power-up feel absolutely epic. But the real game changer is Jin-Woo's ultimate ability. Shadow extraction. He can raise the dead as shadow soldiers. Every powerful enemy he defeats can become part of his army. By the end of the story, he commands over 100,000 shadows, including dragons, demon kings, and ancient warriors. The moment Jin-Woo first summons his shadow army is one of the most iconic panels in all of manhwa. The art by DUBU is so detailed, so dynamic, that fans still use it as wallpaper years later. And speaking of DUBU, I need to talk about him. Jang Sung-rak, the artist behind Solo Leveling, passed away in July 2022 from a brain hemorrhage. He was only 37 years old. DUBU's art is what elevated Solo Leveling from a good story to a masterpiece. His action sequences, his character designs, his use of color and shadow, they're on a level that most manga and manhwa artists can only dream of. He never got to see the anime adaptation of his work. But his legacy lives on in every panel he drew. The anime adaptation by A1 Pictures premiered in January 2024. Season 1 became the most watched anime of that season on Crunchyroll. Season 2 aired in early 2025 and continued the hype. A movie is confirmed for 2026. And Netflix is developing a live-action adaptation. Solo Leveling didn't just succeed as a manhwa. It proved that Korean comics can compete with Japanese manga on the global stage. It opened the door for titles like Tower of God, Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, and dozens of other manhwa to get anime adaptations. So what's my rating? Solo Leveling is a 9.5 out of 10. The story is straightforward, yes. The main character is overpowered, yes. But the execution, the art, the pacing, and the sheer satisfaction of watching Jin-Woo rise from nothing to the strongest being alive, that's what makes it a masterpiece. If you haven't read it yet, the full manhwa is 179 chapters. You can finish it in a weekend. And trust me, once you start, you won't be able to stop. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit subscribe. I cover the best manga, manhwa, and manhwa every single week. I'll see you in the next one.